Now start sewing up all parts. Sewing the heads, bodies, legs and tails of both dogs are exactly the same. We will use the Beagle as a demonstration. Take out the head and body. Take out a piece of 15 inches cyan yarn. Thread the yarn onto a longer sewing needle. We need to sew rounds for 2/6 of the body and rounds 10 to 12 of the head together. Occupy 3 to 4 stitches in the sewing area. First, locate rounds 10 to 12 of the head. We'll use stitch markers to mark them. Then take out another stitch marker for additional marking. This marks the sewing location for the head. Take out the body part. We need to face the color change area downward. We will start sewing the head to the cyan side. Find rounds for 2/6. Mark them. Confirm the position. Make a slight adjustment. Locate the 6th round again. This is the spot where the body will be sewn. Insert the needle from underneath the body. Pull it through at the corresponding spot. Leave a short length of yarn tail at the bottom. Take out the head and position it accordingly. Sew along the matching positions. Sew once more to secure. Tie these two yarn tails together into a knot. Trim off the excess yarn tails. Pinch and tuck the yarn end inside the fabric. The head is now fully sewn on. Now start sewing the front legs. We need to sew the white front legs to rounds for 2/6 on the body, counting from front to back. Place the two front legs 2 stitches apart. Make sure they are symmetrical left and right. First find rounds for 2/6. Leave a stitch gap between the two legs. Make a slight adjustment. These two sides are where we need to sew the legs. Thread the yarn tail onto a longer sewing needle. Place the white front leg in the correct position. Insert the needle at the marked spot and sew along the outline. Weave the excess yarn inside the fabric several times to secure it. Cut off the excess yarn tail. Pinch and gently adjust the shape. One front leg is now sewn on. Sew the other front leg the same way. Two front legs are sewn on. Now, we start sewing the hind legs. They should be sewn on to rounds 5 to 7 of the body, counting from the back to front. Between these 3 rounds, please sew the hind legs to the corresponding position using the same method. Now, let's sew the tail. First, take out the pipe cleaner and fold it into quarters. Place the pipe cleaner inside the tail. Next, sew the tail onto the body, counting 3 to 4 rounds forward from the back. Sew the tail to the middle of the back of the body. Insert the needle here. Sew along the outline. Weave the excess yarn inside the fabric several times to secure it. Cut off the excess yarn tail. Pinch and adjust the shape. Now you can style the tail any way you like. Feel free to shape the tail. Now, let's begin embroidering the eyeliners. Note that the Beagle's lower eyeliners lean backward from the eyes. The Springer's lower eyeliners lean forward from the eyes. Next, embroider the Beagle's eyeliners. Cut 9 inches of black yarn. Pull out the strands from it. Thread the yarn onto a finer sewing needle. Insert the needle from underneath the fabric. Bring it out at the corresponding spot. Leave a length of yarn tail below. Pull the yarn to this side. There is a safety back piece below the eye. It might be a bit tricky to insert the needle. Please be patient. Do the same on this side. Pull out the needle from the same position underneath. Tie a knot with the 2 yarn tails. Cut off the excess yarn tails. Pinch and tuck the yarn end inside the fabric. The upper eyeliner is done. Next, embroider the lower eyeliner. Take a 9-inch white yarn. Cut the yarn. Thread the yarn onto a longer sewing needle. Also insert the needle from underneath. Pull through at the corresponding position. Leave a short length of yarn tail at the bottom. The lower eyeliner on this side is finished. Repeat the same steps on the other side. The eyeliners on this side are also finished. Tie a knot with the 2 yarn tails. Cut off the excess yarn tails. Pinch and tuck the yarn end inside the fabric. The Beagle's eyeliners are completed. For the Springer's eyeliners, please refer to the methods and make them yourself. Now, make the Beagle's mouth. Take out the chin. Thread the yarn tail onto a longer sewing needle. We need to sew the chin between rounds 4 and 5 below the head. Let's first locate rounds 4 to 5. This is the color change area. First, position the chin correctly. Begin sewing. Sew one stitch between both sides of the chin in rounds 3 to 4 of the head. This can secure the mouth again. Pull the excess yarn out from the top of the head. Thread the yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Insert the needle at the middle position, then pull it out at the same spot above. Tie a knot with these two yarn tails. Cut off the excess yarn tails. Hide the yarn end into the fabric. Make some adjustment. The beagle's chin is now sewn. Take out the tongue. Sew it between the head and chin on rounds 3 to 4 of the head. Insert the needle between rounds 3 and 4. Sew the tongue onto the correct position. Pull the excess yarn out from the top of the head. Pull this yarn out from the same spot. Tie a knot with the two yarn tails. Cut off the excess yarn tails. Tuck the yarn end inside the fabric. The tongue is sewn on. Next, embroider the nose. Take out 8 inches of black yarn. Separate the strands. Thread the yarn onto a fine sewing needle. Insert the needle from the side. Pull it out from beneath. Leave a length of yarn tail here. Then pull the yarn to the correct spot. Adjust the position of the nose. Embroider a vertical line on rounds 1 to below the nose. Insert at the position of round 2. Pull through from the same position. Tie a knot with the 2 yarn tails. Cut off the excess yarn tails. Pinch and hide the yarn end inside the fabric. The beagle's chin, tongue and mouth are sewn on. Now, let's start sewing the ears. Sew the ears onto rounds 10 to 11 of the head. There should be a 6-stitch gap between the ears. First, locate rounds 10 and 11 of the head. That's this position. Count 1 stitch to both the left and right from the white area. Repeat the same on the other side. Take out the ear. Thread the yarn tail onto a longer sewing needle. Start sewing from the matching position. Locate round 6 of the ear. That is this round. Place it on the side of the head. Insert needle at the corresponding position. Thread up to round 6 of the ear. This secures the ear on one side. Leave the excess yarn inside the fabric a few times. Cut off the excess yarn tail. This secures the ear on one side. Secure the other ear in the same way. 2 ears are sewn on. The beagle is now completed. Now, let's start making the springer's mouth. Take 8 inches of black yarn. Separate the strands from it. Thread the yarn onto a finer sewing needle. Insert the needle from underneath. Embroider an upside-down Y-shaped mouth. Below the nose at rounds 1 and 2 on the head. Pull the yarn through to the first round. As there is a back piece under the nose, it's hard to insert the needle. We will insert the needle horizontally. Insert the needle at the side of round 2. Pass the needle through to the correct spot. Pass through from underneath the yarn. Pass through to the matching spot on the other side. Pull the yarn out from the same spot. Adjust slightly with the needle. Tie a knot with the yarn tails. Cut off the excess yarn tails. Hide the yarn end inside the fabric. The springer's mold is completed. Now let's make springer's ears. Cut 20 strands of 6-inch coffee-colored yarn. 5 strands of yarn make one group. Make a total of 4 groups. These are the yarns needed for one ear. Take another 10-inch coffee-colored yarn. Use the 10-inch yarn to tie the 4 groups together one by one at the middle. Now one group of yarn is ready. Tie the second group. The second group is okay. Now the third group. And the fourth group. All 4 groups are ready. Secure the yarns to rounds 11 to 12 on the head. Locate rounds 11 and 12. This is the position of these 2 rounds. Thread the yarn onto the sewing needle. Insert from the corresponding position. Secure the ear from the middle of the fabric. Next, tie a knot with these 2 strands. One ear is now fixed. Trim the length. You can trim the ear according to your preferred style. Separate the yarn into single strands. Follow the same methods to separate the yarn into single strands. One ear is completed. Make the other ear using the same methods. Both ears are completed. Now, let's make the collar. Take out the reed leather cord. We will cut it in half. Take half of it. Take out the open ring and bell from the materials kit. Open the ring like this. Thread the bell onto the ring. Then close the ring. Thread the ring onto the red leather cord. Take out the springer. Tie the cord around the neck. Make a knot. Here, you can trim off the excess leather cord. Make a slight adjustment. Trim this side the same way. The springer's collar is now completed. Tie the beagle's collar around its neck the same way. Both dogs are now completed.